praise to the Most High, Ahaya. This is Brother Holly here on the AHAYAH'S channel with the Spirit of Truth broadcast for this set-apart Sabbath day. This will be the second broadcast for this day. And I will be coming again from the Aramaic-English interlinear. And you may be asking yourself, Brother Holly, why are you reading Aramaic versions all of a sudden? Well, shout out to Ahaya, be magnified. Hanging that sister, keep going. She said something about 2 weeks ago, or maybe a week ago, that kind of stuck with me, and I started doing some research. She said that, do you think that Abraham spoke Hebrew when he left the Chaldeans? She said he didn't. And it struck me as odd that I had never thought about that. Well, I did a little research and she was absolutely correct. When our forefather Abraham left his father's house, he spoke the Aramaic language, and there's evidence in early writings that Isaac and Jacob spoke the Aramaic language. There's a few verses in the Old Testament, the Hebrew Old Testament, that are in Aramaic. The entire book of Ezra is in Aramaic in the Hebrew Old Testament. Most of the book of Daniel is in Aramaic. And we've had on good report that the Aramaic versions, or the Peshitas of the New Testament, are much older and much more reliable than the Greek versions of the New Testament. Textus Receptus, Apaleo, and so forth. So, I got my hand on this interlinear, which is from the Eastern Aramaic Peshitta. It's just the New Testament. I got an Old Testament, the first 5 books of the scriptures in Aramaic on order. It's incoming, and I'm gonna try to get my hand on some a full Bible in both Old and New in the Aramaic, but those are very expensive, especially the older Aramaic versions. So we're just studying this out to show ourselves approved unto the Most High, workmen that need not be ashamed, rightfully dividing the word of truth. And I'm going to speak to you today from the Gospel of John, chapter 10. And I just recently taught on this from a Greek translation of the New Testament. But I'll be speaking today from the Aramaic translation of the same verses. And you will be able to compare and contrast and see that there is great differences. Now, earlier we only showed from John chapter 3 that there were some differences. In John 10, the differences are immense. And we'll go over them. All praise. I'll start reading at verse 1. John chapter 10, verse 1. Timeless truth I speak unto you. Whoever enters not by the gate into the sheepfold, but comes up from another place, is a thief and a robber. He who enters by the gate is the shepherd of the flock. To this one the gatekeeper opens the gate, and the flock hears his voice. He calls his sheep by their names and leads them out. And when he has brought forth his flock, he goes before it, and his own sheep go after him, because they know his voice. But the flock goes not after a stranger, but flees from him, for it does not know a stranger's voice. Yeshua spoke this allegory to them, but they knew not what he was speaking with them. But again Yeshua said unto them, Timeless truth I speak unto you, I am the living Most High, the gate of the flock. Wow. Now, in this particular copy of the Peshitta, or the Aramaic New Testament, in the commentary it states that the term I am that was used in this verse is Ina, Na. is the same term used in Exodus chapter 3 verse 14 when the Most High told Moses his name. So here Yeshua is saying to the Yashraelites that he is the I am that spoke to Moses, and he said, I am the I am, the living Most High. I'll read it again. Your Greek New Testament doesn't say this. But again, Yeshua said to them, timeless truth I speak to you. This is the truth he's saying. I am the living Most High, the gate of the flock. And all who have come were thieves and robbers, but the flock did not hear them. He says it again. I am the living Most High, the gate. If anyone enters by me, he shall live, and shall go in and out, and shall find the pasture. But a thief comes not except to steal, kill, and destroy. I come that ye may have life, and whatever abundance they may have. He says it again. I am the living Most High, the good shepherd. The good shepherd laid down his life for his flock. But a hired man who is not a shepherd, whenever he sees a wolf coming, leaves the flock and flees. We talked about that last week. But a hired man flees because he is a hired man and cares not about the flock. And a wolf comes snatching at and scattering the flock. Here he goes again. I am, Ine, nay, the living Elohah, the good shepherd. I know mine and am known by mine. Just as my Father knows me, and I know my Father, and my life I lay down for the flock's sake. Now 4 times in about 7 or 8 verses, he makes the statement that he is the great I am, the living Most High. He says, I'm the gate, I'm the shepherd, and I'm the way. Next verse. The verses are not numbered in this particular version. I'm sorry for that. But I have other sheep which were not from this fold. I also must bring them. They also will hear my voice, and the entire fold shall be one and one shepherd. Now we learned last week when we went over this from the Greek New Testament that one shepherd and one fold was talking about the joining of the house of Judah and the house of Joseph, according to Ezekiel chapter 37. Next verse. Because of this, my Father delights in me, because I am laying down my life that I might take it again. No man takes it from me. I am laying it down of my own will, for I am authorized to lay it down. I am authorized to take it again. This commandment I have received from my Father. And again there was a division among the Judeans because of these words. And many of them were saying, there is a demon in him, and he is raving mad. Why are you listening to him? But others were saying, these are not the words of one who is possessed. Can a demon open the eyes of the blind? But it was the feast of the day of dedication in Jerusalem, and it was winter. And Yeshua was walking in the temple in the porch of Solomon. So we have some context here for where he was saying this, to whom he was saying it, and when. He repeated to them during the Feast of Dedication multiple times that he was Inai, he was the I am, the living Most High. And he was going to lay down his life, not for everybody, but for his sheep. And it says in the book of Jeremiah that the house of Yasharel are lost sheep. And he said in Matthew's gospel, he was not sent except unto the lost sheep of the house of Joseph. So he came into the sheep of the house of Judah, and many believed on him. The chosen stayed when he preached unto them, and he sent his apostles, especially Paul, in whom you trust, to reach out to the house of Joseph. He gave Paul that mission, to preach the gospel of the kingdom to those of the house of Joseph, that all Yasharel may be saved. Next verse. And the Judeans surrounded him and were saying, how long will you take our minds? If you are the Messiah, tell us plainly. Yeshua answered and said unto them, I have told you, and you do not believe. And the works that I do in the name of my Father, they testify of me. But you do not believe, because you are not of my sheep, just as I said unto you. Like I said before, it's many, not any. All ain't everybody, and whosoever may not be you. It says in the book of Romans that the election according to grace is for the remnant. There is a remnant according to the election of grace. If you are not part of the remnant, you're not going to receive the truth. It'll just be a parable unto you. I pray that your ears are open, your eyes are open, you have an understanding heart, and you now know that Yeshua, the Messiah, is the great I am. All praise to the Most High.